Right, guys, welcome back to part 2 of my Undertaker figure collection. This is the Elite Wrestlemania 30 Undertaker. Unfortunately, in this attire, he suffered his first Wrestlemania loss at the hands of Brock Lesnar. Should not have happened. Should not have happened. The good thing about this figure, I won't be taking off his coat because it's literally a struggle to take off these plastic coats. But I will take off his hat though, however, and he has clean shaven sides with his mohawk in the center of his head. He's got his single bearded goatee with no mustache. They didn't do a good job on the eyeliner though. That's the one thing they didn't do, and for some reason it looks like the neck. It's like he nearly has no neck. It's like the head sits too low on top of the top of the torso. But yeah. It is what it is again. But he's got the red TX chain. And he's got a red skull, which I really like. I love the red. Red with the Undertaker suits really well, I think. Yeah, that's his WrestleMania 30 appearance. That was the last time you would have seen him with the mohawk. The next one we got is a very old Jakks Pacific Tron figure. Now this is kind of when Jakks Pacific were getting more detailed from the Bone Crunchers, but the head, oh my god, it's awful. My brother, who's actually here with me at the minute, a couple of years ago actually did the red blood, get a good zoom in there, did the blood effect on the face. The friend that I mentioned earlier on that got me the WrestleMania Heritage Old School Taker, he actually got me this figure at the same time. So he actually picked up two figures for me when he went to see WrestleMania. And overall, it is a pretty cool figure. Like, it's a good throwback. But the tattoos, not very detailed. No design on the tights. No design on the boots. But still, overall, it's pretty cool to have. It's an Undertaker figure after all. But yeah, no gloves, no tights design, but yeah, it's actually pretty cool overall. If you add the blood effect like my brother did for me, it actually stands out really, really well. Next we got another. This I think would be the final of my Undertaker bone crunching figures. This again is another biker, the man who sets me up with good figures like the Heritage or the WrestleMania 21 and 0 figure. Gave me this American Badass Biker Taker. Not much detail on the gloves, just painted hands for gloves. It's got good jeans detail, actually. You can actually see that it has a good denim effect to it. And it has that standard Jakks Pacific American Badass Undertaker head scan with the bandana. You'll see these a lot, this head scan a lot, on Jakks Pacific Undertaker figures. Well, preferably the biker ones. But the bandana has no detail. Oh wow, the neck actually makes a crunching noise every time you twist the head. But yeah, not very much articulation. Just up and down arms, up and down legs, twisty head. That's pretty much it. Let's see. Now this one, guys, yous are gonna absolutely love. Yeah. This one I picked up in a Euro shop. And this is a bit of a mixed up Undertaker figure. It's a knockoff. It's got a very weird hat. It smells of toxic plastic. It's got a very shriveled up looking Jakks Pacific Deadman Undertaker head, which you'll see on a lot of those in the next few figures I'll probably end up showing you. It's got a Jakks torso mold, and for some reason it's got weird Rey Mysterio Mattel legs. But the simple reason I picked it up was because it's an Undertaker figure again. And it was very, very cheap. The coat isn't very long. It doesn't go down to the legs like it should. But what do you expect from a knockoff figure? Still kind of cool in its own weird way. Articulation-wise, there's no bicep swivel. It's just basically a carbon copy of a Jakks Pacific arm. But no bicep swivel. The arm hinges. The wrists and hands hinge, but no swivel, unfortunately. And the same with the legs. You got your waist. Does it actually articulate the waist? It actually does not articulate at the waist, even though it has the crack there as you can see. The knees move, the feet pivot, but yeah. Very weird Undertaker figure. And it stinks of fucking toxic plastic. Oh my god. The next Undertaker figure I'm going to show you was a very sought after one that I wanted since I was 13. Now, the story with this one, I don't know what Ruthless Aggression series it's from, but... And the prototype at the back of the box, I didn't get this box by the way, this was an eBay purchase. It was meant to come with a removable cloth vest, but mine, I don't think the actual figure on release came with it, it was just a prototype. Story of this figure is, I was working one time on a bread van, and two friends of mine went down to a toy store and saw this figure boxed. They tried hiding it from me, and by the time I came down to meet up with them, the figure was actually gone. Typical. Undertaker figures back then, even some to this day, would be very sought after. You got your Sarah tattoo on his neck, his BSK Pride tattoo, the Bone Street Crew. A TX on the side. I think normally at this time he would have had it on this side, but don't matter. Overall, I think this is a very cool Undertaker figure. I've been wanting this since I was 13. It took me a long time. I literally only got this figure off eBay about 2-3 weeks ago. But yeah, very, very solid Undertaker figure. If you're a Jakks Pacific fan, and if you can still manage to get your hands on this figure somehow, I recommend you get this one. Very good figure. Tattoos, very less detailed. Most Jakks Undertaker tattoos were very, very not detailed. Next we have got a Loot Crate, old school style Undertaker with the purple. The cool thing about this Undertaker is that the hat comes off. Not only does the hat come off, but he's also got the removable mask. You can try to take the coat off, but I really would not recommend it because you'll have one hell of a fight trying to get this off. But yeah. Removable mask, removable hat. Very cool Undertaker figure, indeed. And if you were someone who drives a car, you could literally use this on your dashboard. It would make a great, great dashboard piece, I think. But you'd want to probably get a little stand from underneath them. But very cool Undertaker, I think. Next we've got the Mattel's Retro Wave tribute to the Hasbro figures. Another old school Undertaker with the purple gloves and purple boots. Hat does not come off. And he's got an action where, well, it's a body slamming action, I presume. Oh wait, yeah, he has waist articulation. Head articulation, and then he has his feature of a body slam. Pretty cool though. Was not expensive. And now, a really cool figure. He's a little bit banged up, but this is the original Hasbro Undertaker. Now, there's not a lot to do with this figure. He's more like a kind of a clothesline action figure. Now, I did get him like this, so I never actually got to open the box for this figure. His gloves are a little scuffed, not very much articulation, bit of waist, well, the waist can articulate, but that's only for his feature if you want to throw back the fist and he'll give another Hasbro figure a clothesline. But overall, it is a good Undertaker figure. If you can manage to find this cheap, I recommend you get it. It's just a cool piece to have in your Undertaker collection. Next we have got, again, I don't know what number Elite Wave this was in, but the original Elite isn't in this coat. I actually have the basic underneath this. It's the WrestleMania 21. This came with the 22 attire. No, sorry, not WrestleMania 22. WrestleMania 29 attire from when Undertaker fought CM Punk. But for some reason, I think it should have been the other entrance coat that he wore at that WrestleMania. This is from his bout with Triple H in the Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 28. But this is the basic figure. Sorry, again, I can't speak. This is the basic figure in this entrance robe. The hood comes off like this. I did a little bit of colour work to make the mohawk black and tried to make his goatee black, but over time things fade. But yeah, cool robe. Again, it'd be cool if it was cloth, but I'd say it'd be very hard to make this material into something cloth with all the designs and all the studs and everything like that. It would cost Mattel a lot to do something like that, and multiple times over. Next we have got one of the... I don't know what Elite Wave it's from. Again, I buy Undertaker figures and I like them. This is the American Badass Undertaker with the WWE Championship. Now this one I really love. I was never fond of the biker gimmick. I always prefer the dead man gimmick. Although at WrestleMania, the Boneyard match, Undertaker looked pure badass. I liked it. It was a role of Undertaker, Mark Calloway, and American Badass Taker in one. But this figure is actually cool to have. I did have the Elite 18 Undertaker, but unfortunately he took a bit of a fall and the leg snapped off. And I was very heartbroken because that was my first Elite figure. But when they released this one, I was happy. It was like having it again. The only thing is, with this one, it's got the grey Big Evil Pain Syndicate on the side of his pants, whereas the original Elite 18 had Deadman Inc., I believe, on the side of him. The sunglasses didn't come with him. I got 2 of those American Badass SummerSlam Undertakers with the long hair. I gave the figure to my brother. I kept the shades, and I just got it sitting well in between the bandana and the head. But the thing that I love most about this Undertaker figure is the belt. Look at the shine of that belt. Undisputed WWE Championship. Good figure. Very, 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 very solid figure. Removable vest. I won't take these off now because I kind of got the belt just sitting around the thing. His vest and shirt. But yeah, if you can still get this, guys, get it. I recommend you get that figure. This one I'm about to show you next is an R3 Tech figure. Real scan, real reaction, real nah. But this was a friend of mine's and he gave it to me because he knew I was collecting Undertaker figures. And he was one of my, yeah, you can say early Undertaker figures, just as the collection was growing. But this figure is really good. He's got the ball joint on the head. He's got movable fingers. The 3 end fingers here move separate, and this finger, the index finger, can point. So he's like this: "You, me, Ric Flair, in the ring now. You're mine, boy." But yeah, he's got all the basic articulation that you'd have from a Jakks figure, other than the movable fingers. He's got a removable coat. The one weird thing about some of these R3 Tech figures is it looks like they had like they were, how would you describe it? Like they were kind of pushing outwards and their back is kind of like pushed in. I've got a Stone Cold very similar, and that's going to be a figure for another later date. But yeah, very good figure. I don't know how much brand new this would go for. I'm sure it would go for a pretty penny boxed, but I have not seen this on eBay loose. All the other R3 Tech figures I've seen with The Undertaker have been boxed, and they range from like 40 to 50 quid onwards. The next Undertaker figure that we're going to have a look at is the Ghostbusters Undertaker. Again, I got this from the same friend that got me the 21-0 figure. Cool figure, translucent, you can see through some of the parts. If you put this figure up against, say, your living room window on a sunny day, you can see all the parts that connect them in. The only thing I don't like about this figure is the hat does not stay on well. Unless you kind of like angle the hat in a certain way on his head where it will sit. But, meh. Would have been cool if this Taker came with a jacket. You can kind of see his tattoos. I'm not sure how well that's coming off on camera. But his tattoos are there. There's no design on the sides of his pants or his tights. Everything is translucent. The title is green. That actually looks like the old 1998 WWF Championship. I think that's what they based it off. But it's very plain looking. There's not a lot of design in it. Still cool to have, though. But yeah, if you like the Ghostbusters and the Ghostbusters wave of WWE figures, I recommend you buy this if you're a Taker fan. Next, we got the next Defining Moments Undertaker. I've actually got this double, one with entrance gear and one with not. This one I bought brand new. I got this about almost 5 years ago now. Yeah, it was about 5 years since it was released. I had an opportunity to get the San Diego Comic-Con release of this, but it was going for way too much money and I could not afford it. But yeah, it's still just as good. He's got the painted in eyes. The San Diego Comic-Con one had the eyes painted white for his eye roll. But nah, again, sadly I couldn't get my hands on that. If I ever did and had the money for it, I probably will splash that cash for that figure. But yeah, I like the fact that it has his cloth cape. The head sculpt is pretty strong. The only thing inaccurate is that it's completely shaven all around the back. You only would have had it shaven about to there, and the rest would have been long about there. But my god, this figure is absolutely solid. I believe this was kind of a bit of a shelf warmer for a while too, sadly. But it's a strong figure. Even the look at the boots, like look at how they're sculpted designs. Accurate. The designs on the tights and everything like that. Yeah, that's coming out well on the camera. Yeah, this would have been his late 98, early 99 appearance before he went out with his groin injury. The next Undertaker is... I'm just going to get some of these weird ones out of the way first. It's this little weird thumb wrestling action figure. This had actually come into work when I was working in the charity shop. I wasn't working this day. My brother was doing work experience and he actually picked this up for me. The face isn't actually too bad. You can tell that's Undertaker right off the bat, but a lot of the paint is chipped. I think these were either pencil tops or thumb wrestling figures, but not a whole lot to show you about this one. So yeah, still pretty cool to have. And then we have the Rumblers Undertaker. A friend of mine actually picked this one up for me. Not a lot of detail, no tattoos sadly. The hat does not come off. No tights designs. So the Rumbler figures were very, very plain and basic, sadly. But yeah, that's the Rumblers Taker. Here's a good look at him. And next we have got the SH Figuarts Undertaker. I did a little bit of paint work around the facial hair just to kind of make it stand out a bit better. One thing I don't like about the figure is they didn't cover the whole arms with the tattoos. He's got multiple changeable heads. They're in a drawer at the moment, so maybe in a future video I'll go through all the heads separately with this figure. But he does not... Sadly, he did not come with any tights designs. I do have decals that a friend gave me to put onto him, but I need Mod Podge Sealer to actually apply them properly. So it'll make the figure look really good as soon as I can get them onto him. He came with his hat. The articulation's very good. He got the butterfly joints. It's actually not stiff. I thought it was stiff because he hasn't been moving. I haven't moved him around lately. But yeah. But these guys are very, very expensive. This cost me, when I went to Liverpool, about £80. Now in euro, that would be close to 90 to 100. But good Undertaker figure, the likeness is right there. I love that face sculpt. And Mattel are actually getting really good as well with their face sculpts, but this, I think, is really solid. Oh, and the hair, the bottom part of the hair is actually a separate piece. So if you remove his head here, and you can actually take that out, you can nearly make him look like a short-haired Undertaker, Joe. Like when he returned when he fought Bray Wyatt. He's nearly like a short-haired Undertaker then. So yeah. If you like your SH Figuarts toys as a whole, and if you're an Undertaker fan, get this one too. Now, we have the basic WrestleMania 32 Undertaker. Much like the WrestleMania 21 heritage. I think the paint overall is better on this Undertaker's face. He's got his updated tattoos with his children's names across his neck. He's got his main tattoos on his arms that he's had for years. He's got his studs painted on along the sides of his pants. So this is from his fight with Shane McMahon in the Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania 32. Very strong figure, I think. And it was just before Mattel took away the good basic articulation with their figures. You can't even, with today's basics, you can't even pivot the damn boot. And you can't even swivel the bicep. You can only swivel like the arm joint. But yeah, very good Undertaker figure. And this one actually holds a very special place in my heart. This is before I was an Undertaker fan. I was a big Kane fan when I started watching wrestling. But before I was an Undertaker fan, this is my very first Undertaker figure. Now this one holds a big place in my heart. Over the years he's got a lot of wear and tear. I painted over some of the hair. It needs another repaint because it's starting to scratch through unless I have the sealer. I had to repaint the vest, and sadly the Decade of Destruction had to go on the back too. So it was that badly scratched. Oh yeah, and he actually had long hair, but that bit always snapped off with these Undertaker figures. Actually, that had reused a lot. It's mad. But yeah, this is my very first Undertaker figure from when I was 10. Or was I 9? I think I got this just before I was 10. So yeah, this figure alone is almost 20 years old. And if you were getting this boxed, oh, good luck. Good luck. This one is the basic 100 Undertaker, but I put the Elite 11's entrance robe on this because I thought it looked good. It reminds me of a picture of the Undertaker from back in 11. I think it's pretty good. And again, as I said with the new basic articulation, you haven't even got an ankle pivot. And you haven't even got the bicep swivel, but I suppose that's kind of good for the tattoo work. So the new swivel is kind of in along the arm joint. You get focus there. But that head scan, that FX head scan, I love this Taker head sculpt. The tongue sticking out, the eyes rolled back. Oh, appears we have a music stop. There we go. Yeah, we can actually take this robe off, and I can show you the designs. Oh, sorry. And this one, oh wow, this one's actually got gold skulls as well. I forgot that they were gold. I've had this robe on him for so long. But look at that head sculpt, guys. That is so accurate. The hairline, compared to what Mattel first did with their Undertaker head scan, this is just wow. Wow. Next, we got a really strange one. This is a Deluxe Classic Superstars Undertaker, supposedly from his debut era. A friend picked this up for me. There's a lot about this figure I don't like, but there's a lot that I do like about it. It's the fact that it's his debut look. Again, minus the black gloves, the grey gloves, and they're not even sculpted gloves. They're just literally painted, and painted boots. But the head is from a generic current day Jakks Undertaker figure. Just what they did there is retool it to make it look like the mullet, and I don't think it worked very well, and then they painted grey underneath the eye. I think they could have made this a lot better. But yeah. And this is just basically like a Kevin Thorne deluxe body. But it's in a way it's cool to have. But I think the Ruthless Aggression style classic Superstars Undertaker had the better scan because the hair was accurate, the face was accurate, you had the stubble going across. Next we have got another Deluxe Undertaker from Jakks Pacific. Now this one I got about 12 years ago. This is one of the figures that kicked off my Undertaker collection. You got the tongue sticking out, the eyes rolled back. I actually did a hand swap with a Ruthless Aggression one just to make it different, but I might put an open hand one back on this just to change it up. He's got one design on his side tights, the Phenom's Death Crew logo. He's got double jointed knees, single jointed elbows, Again, I won't be covering the articulation with every single figure. You guys will probably get the general gist of what articulation has what. But the head scan, look at that head scan. I loved this Undertaker head scan. This is the second time I owned this figure. First time I had it was back when I used to play with figures when I was younger and did matches. But this was one of the figures that kicked off my display figures. Next we have got this is the last of my Deluxe Jakks figures. Plenty more Taker figures to go, don't worry. And this one I put a Mattel hat and coat on it. The leather coat. But I think that's it. There's something about this that sits really well on a Jakks figure. And again, one of my favourite Undertaker head scans of all time. And I think this was the best of 2009 wave. Again, he's much like the other Undertaker figure, except open hands. No tights design other than the best of 2009 wave. No tattoo on the neck. He's got his tattooed arms that you can see there. But wow, I actually loved this Elite. I really want the maximum progression one though. That head scan is just wow. Oh, my knees are getting sore from... Oh. Now, this one is a Sweat Undertaker figure from Jakks Pacific. Please ignore the chopped hair. This wasn't originally mine. Back when me and my friend were kids, he actually chopped that bit of hair. But this represents his 1997, 1998, early 99 look. And again, they actually didn't put the tattoos on this. But this is actually very cool though. The sculpt on the attire, on the torso, is very good. He's got sculpt on the tights design. And what you did with this figure was, it came with a little bottle of water, like a little tiny thing. You open up his back there. Oh, just bear with me for a sec, peeps. Yeah. And you put the water in there because it had a little nozzle, and then you press the button on his back here. And what would happen is the water would come down here like sweat. So, pretty cool figure. Next, we have got this little weird guy here. I got him because he was very cheap. I don't know who made him, what company made him, but it's very less detailed. Hi, how are you? I'm Undertaker. Yeah, so less detail. Gloves are just completely painted black. There's no sculpt on the MMA gloves. Very dead detail on the face. But yeah, he was only a little cheap Undertaker figure. See you now. And next we got a Jakks Pacific Undertaker. Now this figure was a head swapped one, and I painted a full beard going across, representing his late 2005 look from when he returned to fight Orton. When he returned to Survivor Series 05 in the Burning Coffin. I think I did a good job in the paint. And this was years ago I did this. And the first Deluxe Undertaker figure I showed you from the current day one, the first Undertaker figure that kicked my collection off, they're the original hands to it. I want your soul. Next we've got another Defining Moments Undertaker, the same one from the second as I told you. This was my brother's, but he gave it to me. I actually traded him a Daniel Bryan for this, because I always wanted one without the entrance gear. So yeah, you get a better look at his wrestling attire. So he's got the sculpted on TX, very nicely sculpted. And you can see some of his chest, same head scan, tattoos detailed. The gloves nearly look like the MMA ones, but it looks like they were retooled a little bit. And you got his tights design here then, and the sculpted boots. Oh, my knees are actually killing me. Sorry guys, bear with me for just 1 sec. I need to make myself a little comfortable. Now, we have got the Network Spotlight Undertaker, where I did the head swap with the Ministry head. This entrance code is from Elite 8, and I decided to put the WWF World Heavyweight Championship with this Undertaker. I won't be removing the jacket. It's just that it was a fight to get on, and it'll be a fight to take off. But if I can try and show you, he's got... Oh, that's not going to work. But he's got designs at the side of his tights. But I think this works really well with this figure. Not a lot to say about the figure, except it's really cool. Again, this came with the SummerSlam basic head. And I just did the swap with the Spotlight figure, because I think it looked way better. Mattel should have done this ages ago, I think. But, I fixed what you refused to do, Mattel. How would you like that one? Next, we have a Jakks Pacific American Badass Titantron Undertaker. Another one with bandana. A friend of mine actually got this for me as well. I had this figure before that my brother gave me, but I gave that one back to him because I got this one. And he's got Dead Man ink on the side of his pants. Not a lot of articulation. No BSK pride tattoo on his abdomen. He would have had it back then, I'm pretty sure. I think he got that tattoo in the late 90s, I'm almost positive. But he's got a Sire tattoo on his neck. He would have had long hair. It has the same kind of break as I said before. And you got your tied bandana at the back. Next, we've got a really cool one here. I don't know the name, I can't remember the name of the series of these ones. But you collect 4 of them and you can build a ring. And they're basically just statued figures really more than anything. And I love the detail on this. Except the tattoos aren't so detailed, sadly. But he's got movable arms, so you can nearly make it look like he's calling for the end. Rest in peace, and I'll make you famous. So he's got his bandana sculpted on. He's got a coat, sleeveless coat sculpted. The jeans sculpt. Oh my god, guys, look at this. You can actually see it has a great denim effect. No design in the back. He's got his... Oh, what's that hairstyle called? Plaited hair at the back. Overall cool figure. The ring is actually really cool. You had to actually build this. But I don't know why they opted for the wreckage on the mat. But nah, at least it adds a bit of character to it. This Undertaker figure I want to show you next is from the 3-pack I was mentioning in the first part. I decided to put the Defining Moments Undertaker gear on this. So this would have came with the 1996 Defining Moments Taker. The wings go up and down. Underneath this coat, this Undertaker figure is actually very, very plain. He's got the basic Ruthless Aggression movement. Swivel in the arm.